So today's video we're going to be looking at the amazing book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and as you can see on the cover here, over 15 million copies sold worldwide. And the irony is, wherever I travel in the world I find this book being sold, even if it's in a village in the middle of Uganda. Seriously, I was walking along and I found this book for sale. That's how influential it can be for people. Now, Think and Grow Rich for sure has to be one of the greatest all-time books for self-help, and it really is the all-time classic for self-improvement. It was written by a guy called Napoleon Hill, who I'm sure you all heard of unless you've been living under a rock, and it was written in 1937, and it focuses on this, the power of positive thinking and how to use it to succeed in life, and it emphasizes the importance of setting goals and taking action to achieve those goals. It is one of the most influential books on personal success of all time. That cannot be understated. The book really has been accredited with inspiring some of the world's most successful and influential leaders, business leaders, politicians, you name it. And it serves as a useful guide, for anyone who wishes to really achieve their own vision of success, whatever that vision may be for you. One of the most important principles I've taken from Think and Grow Rich is this. It's the concept of having a definitive major purpose. Napoleon Hill emphasizes the importance of an individual having a major goal to work towards and devoting all their energy towards achieving it. This sort of single-minded focus honestly really helps individuals, has for myself, to stay motivated and take action to reach the desired outcome, the end result they want. And Hill really encourages readers to tap into the power of positive thinking and develop a strong belief in their own capability. That's one thing the book really emphasizes for people. So let's dive into some of the other principles found in the book, which honestly guys, you're going to find so useful in your entrepreneurship, business, all that stuff. The first one is achieving great things requires being smart, and surrounding yourself with smart people. This is a crazy principle. When I first learnt this, it made sense. It makes sense, for example, in business, getting yourself with a mentor, someone who's already been there, tread the path, knows the thing. The bigger the goal, the more complex the planning, the more difficult the goal really is. And the more sort of dependent brains behind the projects, the business, it will lead to being more creative, intellectual, and you will have the support of others. And that's what they mean by surrounding yourself with smart people. This mutual support, backing, co-ownership is the best form of brain trust. A select group of really intelligent people, And Hill calls this a brain trust, a union of like-minded people, a network, people who cooperate together for a common purpose, a common goal, someone who all share the same thing, someone who can add in checks and balances, independent brains, but all leading to the same thing. And if you can get two or more people who work well together with a same burning desire, wanting the same desired result, and they can combine their different skills, talents, this thing which Napoleon calls specialist knowledge and experiences and relationships, and all the other resources they have at their disposal, then they can accomplish the same shared goal much faster with better results. And honestly, the sum of the results will just be so much better, and you can achieve things much more effectively. So that's the first principle, Achieving great things requires being smart, surrounding yourself with smart people. The next principle is only the persistent will succeed. So if you think about it, over the course of any business venture or entrepreneurship journey, honestly, really, regardless of whatever the nature may be, you're going to encounter hurdles, obstacles, problems, difficulties, okay? And in these situations, most people are really too quick to give up on their desired outcome, the result. Yeah, they let the project die, they quit, because no one likes to have a difficulty or an obstacle. But there are a few people that, even with all these obstacles and problems and criticism or whatever it may be, they keep focusing, they keep going and going and going and going, and they stick to their original plans, and they give their dreams the possibility to really become real, okay, and become reality. And honestly, this is where he says only the persistent will succeed. Yeah, persistence and endurance, and this mindset of just keeping going to the task is key. That means, above all, that we work constantly and consistently to really realise the goals, the vision we have, and we never lose sight of them, no matter what the obstacle may be. And if your desire is strong enough, and Hill in the book talks about a burning desire, is strong enough, you will be willing to implement it no matter what. And if you want to be persistent and endure, and you want to take root of your habits, okay, and if you want to really do this, there's 4 critical sort of rules, okay, that Hill talks about in the book, okay. And the first one is you must have a concrete goal and develop this thing called a burning desire to achieve it. That's the first thing you have to do. The second thing is that you need to have a thorough and a precise plan to support the implementation of the goals, dreams, hopes and desires that you want. The other one is that you may not allow yourself to be influenced by negative or disheartening opinions. In life, you're going to have haters. Yeah, look at Grant Cardone, the billionaire entrepreneur. Okay, he has so many haters, it's unbelievable. But he doesn't allow himself to be influenced by the negative and disheartening opinions of other people. In life, people just won't get on, and that's a fact. So those that are successful and they persist don't allow themselves to be influenced by negative and disheartening opinions. The next one is you need an intimate, trusting relationship to a personal group that really nurtures you, and they provide you with the support and assistance that you need. It's so important that you have this. The next thing is you have to think of these rules as an exercise program. Yeah, you have to keep doing it again and again and again and again to help build up your personal endurance and persistence. That's kind of a bonus, like a number 5. But the 4 things are this. Let's go. It's so important. You must have a concrete goal and develop a burning desire to achieve it. You need a thorough and precise plan to support the implementation of your goals. The next one is you may not allow yourself to be influenced by crazy people, negative, disheartening opinions, someone trying to put you down. So we have these 4 rules with this added thing on the ends to really ingrain it in your mind and make it effective. And honestly, if you can do those 4 things, have a concrete goal, burning desire, the first one. Second one, precise plan to support and implement those goals that you've set. And then thirdly, don't allow yourself to be influenced by negative or disheartening opinions. And then having an intimate, trusting relationship to a person or group of people who provide you with the assistance and support you need to achieve those goals. Okay, those are the things you need to do. But like Napoleon says, you have to think of these rules as like a special exercise program in order so you really can program yourself for personal endurance and persistence, because business, as we know, and entrepreneurship, is it's not easy. It's not easy. So if you can do those things, it will really help you along the way. Now, the next one we're going to look at is an important principle, and it's one to do with successful people are sort of remarkable for their determination and steadfastness. And so he sort of analysed the life stories of thousands of people who failed to achieve personal success. And when you look at that, it shows that the thing was lack of determination. Lack of determination was the main reason for their failure. I mean, Napoleon Hill didn't just say this stuff without research. And what he did, though, he also analysed the success stories of millionaires. By contrast, considered both parties. And what he found was they had two characteristics in common. And they were used to making split-second decisions, and once made, they stood by them fastly. Yeah, they stood behind their decisions. And what's strange is that Hill discovered that a certain degree of stubbornness, being really stubborn, as long as it doesn't transform into death craziness, works. Henry Ford in particular was known to stick to his decisions. He studied Henry Ford in great depth, and he would stick to his decisions for a long time. And in the book there's some wonderful examples, but just know that principle is very, very true. Very, very true. And in fact, when you study the book and you look at Henry Ford, there's a lot to be learnt from the discussions they had. But the thing I learnt from this is that actually opinions are cheap. Everyone has one, and most people want to dispense them. They want to share them and tell you no matter how crazy they may be, or uneducated, or researched, or fact-checked, or whatever it may be, how illogical or logical or emotional, or it just doesn't matter. And in order to avoid running into the danger of negative influences, and really diverting from your own steadfastness, it makes sense, right, of course, to offer others as few opportunities as possible to express their critical opinions. That may sound a bit rude and absurd, but actually, who actually understands your idea better than you? People who are disheartened in particular should therefore keep their plans and intentions to themselves and not confine in anyone else, except for the members of their hand-picked relationships. Their team, the people who are on board with them. Or trustworthy outsiders to that team, who could be independent experts who really are experts in the field, and their opinion will be valued and really will help to guide and steer you for your end result, your burning desire. And opinions are cheap. Everyone has an opinion, even if they don't really understand what their opinion is. So for me, that's a big rule. And interesting, when he looked at millionaires and failures, discovered successful people are remarkable for their determination and steadfastness. That's a really important rule, guys. One which is quite controversial. People say you have to listen to others, make them feel valued, which is true. But when you listen to people who try and influence you in a bad way, it's not productive. The next idea from the book is that positive emotions are key to a successful life, and that you need to work on them. They need to be strengthened. Now, this is a lot to do with your subconscious mind, the information you take in, and how you're constantly being influenced by your actions, and it can really shape you positively if you do things correct, but it can also really affect you negatively. It can shape you negatively, misleading you into depression. And if you want your subconscious to help you realize like your goals, desires, dreams, that burning desire, the end result, you have to make sure that positive feelings are played like the leading light, role, guidance in your life. We must, therefore, Napoleon says, feed. I mentioned Grant Cardone, feed the beast, he says, our subconscious positive things, because if we do, we will act as a helpful and constructive guide. But if we allow ourselves to consume or allow negative things into our lives, our minds, our suggestions, our thoughts, such as people seeking revenge on you, or they just don't like you, or they hate you, or you feel this, okay, it will have the very opposite effect upon you. And that's why you should take huge steps every day, whenever you're able to avoid contact with these people. Yeah, you want to avoid this discouragement entering your mind, and instead you want to make a point to increase all the positive things and impulses in your life, such as enthusiasm and loveful relationships, friendships. That's the only way you'll end up developing a true positive mentality in the long term. And as long as you're feeding your mind with positivity and enthusiasm and love, opposed to hate, desire, revenge, pessimism, failure, depression, that will go a long way to serve you. So Napoleon says, again, positive emotions are key to a successful life, and they need to be strengthened. And you can do that through daily exercise. Okay, next principle is knowing your own strengths and weaknesses increases your chances of professional success. So one of the key fundamental building blocks for success, Napoleon points out, is an awareness of your strengths and weaknesses. And in other words, it's being self-aware and actually knowing what you're really good at, what you're bad about. Yeah, knowing your strengths and weaknesses. And if you do, the result will be you will increase the chances of professional success in whatever you come to do. So being self-aware is so important. So things like having vague goals, not having ambition, taking time to take action, procrastination, lacking resolve, these are real reasons, components. If you look at a will, success and failure, these are the reasons for failure. And if you have self-awareness, you can help to constantly take action against these weaknesses, or at least to balance them with your strengths. So how do you go about finding what your strengths and your weaknesses? How do you find out? How do you discover what they are? Well, you don't. It's not a complicated process. All you have to do is literally have a checklist, a list, a piece of paper, and ask yourself questions, honest questions. Yeah, and it can be a private thing with you, like a self-analysis. Okay, and you can ask, did I achieve my aims this week, this month, this year? Was I friendly? Did people enjoy working with me? All the questions you could ever think of. And whenever you find something you're good at, great, add it to another separate bit of paper. And when something you're not so good at, another piece. And those is where you can go out and get the expertise, i.e. bring someone into your group of people who know that skill set which you don't have, or go away and, of course, educate yourself. And like it says, knowing your strengths and weaknesses will really increase the chances of professional success. So if you look at your ongoing projects you have at the moment, the goals, the dreams, desires, whatever it may be, do this honest checklist to discover, is it working? And you really should do this self-analysis, this evaluation of yourself. It really works best when you do it yourself, but take it to the next level. Then after you've done this things, sit down with someone who knows you and who's going to be really honest with you, and discuss like your strengths and weaknesses, and get the input from a trusted advisor, a trusted source, a trusted friend, a trusted party, and let them honestly tell you what your strengths and weaknesses are. That alone will really help you to up your game. The next thing we're going to look at is this idea of the workshop of the imagination. This is where we can turn our dreams into reality. So each and every success story, as we know, has to begin somewhere. And it begins with an idea. And behind every idea is an imagination. Someone dreamt up this idea. They saw this vision of the future. And it's the creative workshop in our mind that transfers and really transforms like our dreams into reality, our ideas into reality, our thoughts into reality, the thing we write down on a bit of paper into reality. It's this thing, the creative workshop of our mind. And having this ability to do this is really having this idea of like a creative imagination. And when you're able to come up with new things, fantastic. This is what, visual artists do and writers do. And you can create things that have never been seen anything like that before. But there is this other imagination in like struck contrast, and it arranges new ideas into combinations. And you need to sort of balance both of these things, which can be hard. And just know that everything is born from your mind, and you have to have these dreams and apply all these principles we're talking about in order to allow your imagination to come true. So just know you have this thing called the workshop of imagination, and that's where we can turn our dreams into reality. It's not some made up thing, it's a real thing. Everything starts from nowhere. I suggest definitely getting the book. The link will be below this video. Buy the book and read it. Underline, highlight, analyse everything that's said, because I'm just giving you some principles. Even though you see the book's very thin, there's so much in here. Okay, the next idea we want to look at is so important. Knowledge is power, but it doesn't have to be what we learnt in school. So many people put weight on a university education and a college education. Now, I did that. I went to university, did very well. But just know, my actual true knowledge wasn't actually learnt from school. So knowledge can make things a lot easier when you're trying to strive to achieve something in life, because of course knowledge is power. And if you have this knowledge, then things will become very, very easy. So when we look at the term knowledge, first things first, most people think of like the traditional meaning of what knowledge means, and that forms into formal education. Okay, normally falls into formal education, because being well educated, that's what most people assume will get them success. Okay, but then let's look at it from the other side. Uneducated people, okay, who know a heck of a lot of stuff, which was demonstrated and shown and proven in the book from many of the people he spoke to, but one springs to mind is Henry Ford. He clearly demonstrated that he didn't make it to high school, but it didn't stop him from establishing an empire and making millions, if it was today billions. Okay, and if you want to be successful, you don't need to stuff your heads with too many facts. It's far more important to acquire the right knowledge, experiences, beliefs, strengths, so you can fully exploit your own potential. And that's the problem with a traditional education. They try and teach you everything, and you don't master anything. You're like a jack of all trades and master of none, to coin the phrase. So if you want to be successful, you don't need to fill your head full of knowledge and facts and figures. It's far more important to acquire knowledge through the right experiences and acquire the right knowledge and use your own strengths to fully exploit this. So the most important basis is to be willing to continue learning throughout life. And education, the right knowledge shouldn't stop. And then when you get complacent, this is the silent enemy, the killer. Instead, you must be proactive. You must be proactively trying to expand your own knowledge, but in the right way. And there's many ways you can achieve this. Okay, so of course you could go to university by attending like evening classes and acquiring the right skills there. But as we said, the problem with universities is they try and teach you too much. They don't try and get you to specialise in certain things. So the other thing you could do is go out and acquire the practical experiences from the School of Hard Knocks. Now, of course, equally as useful in the ability to know what to do. But just know you don't need to do everything yourself. This is another thing the book keeps talking about. You don't need to master everything, because you can find someone who has that missing genius, the missing knowledge that you need. And that's exactly what Henry Ford did. So instead, you just need to ask yourself every time, do I actually need to know this? Do I actually need to know this thing which is being presented before me? And it's usually far more productive and practical to be surrounded, as Henry Ford did, by a panel of experts, a panel of people who can share their own specialised knowledge than you having to learn it all yourself. Let someone else be the expert in that field and they do the work for you. It's a very important rule for business, yeah? So remember, knowledge is power, but it doesn't have to be learnt from a school or university, okay? And for me, that was certainly true. I've learnt far more in the world of business, even though I used to teach at a university. As soon as I left university, I actually opened my eyes and learnt a lot more. Not that I'm dissing a university education, because it does serve you well. Right, next idea. This one is very, very cool. It's this: by using this thing known as auto-suggestion, our subconscious can influence our own behaviours. So having this faith, this true belief, this unbelievable, unwavering faith in yourself is not necessarily something you're born with, okay? It doesn't just happen overnight. It's something that anyone can develop bit by bit. And you do this through the power of something known as autosuggestion. Now, autosuggestion describes a way of influencing yourself by being very specific and purposeful with the thoughts and ideas that you put into your mind. And it just really is a way you influence yourself. So you can use it to give yourself certain positive goals, commands, and you're sending these messages really to your own subconscious. And in doing so, it really increases your own belief in yourself. Unshakable, which Tony Robbins has had a big event called Unshakable. And this gives you an unshakable belief in yourself. So in general, auto-suggestion really comes down to this. It consists of persuading yourself, influencing yourself. You can reach your goals. Your thoughts can be transformed into reality, and you must go on your own way with complete confidence. Okay, so you're just persuading yourself that you can reach your goals. You're persuading yourself that your thoughts can be transformed into reality, and that you do this way with confidence. And the more you use This thing, auto-suggestion, the likelier it is that it will help you to achieve success. So if you impress your desires and goals in your unconscious, right, it will steer your thoughts and actions really towards making them come true. So I really recommend buying the book from Napoleon Hill and really understanding this thing of auto-suggestion. It's not a huge chapter in the book. I mean, none of the things are. But you know, as he says here, auto-suggestion is a term that implies to all suggestions and all self-administration that reach one's mind through the 5 senses. Stated another way, auto-suggestion is self-suggestion. It is the agency of communication between that part of the mind where the conscious thought takes place and that what serves as the seat of action for the subconscious mind. It's a very powerful chapter, one which I recommend you read for yourselves. Link in the description below. Okay, the next idea from the book is successful people in life, as Napoleon Hill found out, talking from loads of people, have an unwavering faith in themselves. And it's a surefire way of making sure that you will achieve your goals. Okay, having this thing called unwavering faith. Really, you can only honestly achieve success if it's based on self-confidence linked with unwavering faith in yourself. Okay, Napoleon Hill said very clearly, no wealth has ever been acquired, nothing's ever been invented without faith as its basis. Yeah, this belief, okay, and without it nothing happens. So our own faith in ourselves has a huge influence on our self-image and the way we live our own lives. It's so important, and with the right mindset, honestly, you can achieve all your goals. But you must have this unwavering faith in yourself. Okay, you have to have this linked, of course, with self-confidence, and that will help you get self-confidence. The final idea, principle I want to look at is goal setting and detailed planning are the basis of every single achievement. So for every success story, it begins with people who know what they want to achieve. Okay, people know what they want and they plan for it. Okay, and they have clear goals. This has been explained by all the gurus online. You know, you look at Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy. They've written books on goals. They talk about goal setting, the importance of goal setting. There's a reason for that. People who are success have goals and plans. It's so important to come up with a plan that outlines every step you'll need to take until you realise your goal. Sub-goals. Once you have a plan, then execute. Execute. Too many people set goals and they do nothing with them. You need to set the goals and execute. And the more detailed you are in that goal, the more likely you are to achieve it. So that principle, goal setting and detailed planning are the basis of every achievement. It's so important to have this clear understanding of what you actually want to achieve with your goal and what you're prepared to do, prepared to invest to accomplish it. Because setting a very clear goal is pointless. Okay, it's pointless if it's just like floating around, not happening. Okay, you're never pursuing it, or you're just doing it, you know, putting half your effort in. No. The book Think and Grow Rich, when you tie it all together, it's very clear. You have this burning desire. You're focusing on one thing. You have your goals, detailed planning. It's the basis of like every success. When you read the book in its entirety, you understand it as a whole. It's very, very powerful. So the main message I want you to take away is that wealth, in whatever form, financial, love, friendships, relationships, whatever it may be, wealth in whatever form is seldom the result of luck, coincidence, chance. It's far more likely, okay, it's always the result of skills that anyone can learn and desire. And if you have the right burning desire, you can acquire and you can learn those skills and execute those skills. We can only accomplish the aims in our life if we're driven by this burning desire, Napoleon Hill says. You can only do it if you do goal setting and have detailed planning. This is the basis of every achievement. Successful people have this unwavering faith in themselves, and they use auto-suggestion to their subconscious because they know it can influence your behaviour. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's been just a quick dive into this amazing book. If you've enjoyed it, please like, comment and subscribe to this channel. You can grab the book below, there's a link there for you. And why not watch the next video? I'll be doing hundreds of book reviews about how these books have impacted me personally in my journey in business and entrepreneurship. I hope you found it helpful. Comment below something which you learn or something you're going to implement. I love to hear from you, so please comment below, and I'll see you in the next video. Why wait? Why not watch one of the next ones here?